Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and we have a package that goes along with that kind of fending for ourselves, living on our own, more simplistic, self-sufficient lifestyle that we've been going towards lately. And this is going to help us both pretty much all year round, but it's going to help us indoors and continue the whole planting process. Do you want to tell them what we got?
First off, we have a small yard, so that's part of the reason this is going to help. We'll be able to actually have a larger scale of planting in a smaller space. But we also want to be able to garden throughout the winter months, so that also helps. But we ended up ordering a hydroponics setup. Never grown anything in hydroponics, never had a setup for hydroponics, so this is a learning process. And hopefully it'll end up being a really good learning process, and it'll help us so we actually have a lot of produce all winter and all summer.
We're going to cut it open. Neither one of us really remembers what comes in the box. We know the system itself. It comes with a pump, comes with the drainage tubes. I believe it came with the basket nets, or whatever they're called. Again, we're pretty new to this.
And I'm pretty sure it was like 172 spots.
108.
108. Okay.
I remember that. It's 108 that you can have plants. 108 spots. Besides that, we're extremely new. This is going to be trial for us, so I don't really know what the little basket net things are actually called, but I think they come with those as well. We're going to cut in, find out. We're going to hopefully try to set it up, and then we're still doing some research. We're still doing some research and stuff like that, but we're going to try to get it fired up and see if we can get something growing. I mean, it's December, so December in Northwest Indiana, you're not going to have a garden outside. So it'd be kind of cool if we can get this up and going and actually start getting some herbs and some peppers and some stuff like that, because they claim anything that's not a rooted vegetable, like like potatoes, onions, beets, stuff that grows in the ground, they claim if it's anything other than that, you can grow it in this system. So we're going to find out.
One of the reasons we picked this system out as well is because it is a fairly simplistic system. It's something that once we get it and try it out, we can easily replicate it and make another one cheaper than what we paid. It wasn't horribly priced, but it also leaves us the ability to change things to what we think would work out better maybe with this system. So there might be certain things we think, hey, this will work better, let's do it this way instead. But we can keep a fairly similar model. And we know if it works.
Oh, that's the other thing too, is this thing it came with a pump, and it also comes with a timer. So you can set the intervals for when the pump kicks on, and you can set the timer for how long the pump is actually on. So you have a pretty good control over how your system's going to operate. So we have, I don't know what this is. I'm assuming it's part of the planting system. So then we have the hose.
Now, the holes look like they must be a lot smaller than I thought they were going to be by looking at the netting system. They're small pots.
So there is whatever the baskets, whatever they're called. But there's a whole stack of them. That's 108. So yeah, this is going to be quite a bit smaller than I was anticipating. But like we said, this leaves us, it's all literally made out of PVC pipes and connectors and stuff. So if the system works, it leaves us the ability to actually custom make our own, and we can do a much bigger system, and we don't have to deal with little pots. And it just gives us more room and more customization English, but it gives us more ability to kind of make it into our own the way we want it.
This one might be mostly herbs and like lettuces, stuff like that doesn't require that much rooting. But I'm still tempted to try like pepper or tomato in it just to see. You never know. Maybe they don't need such a big rooting area.
So this looks like it's going to be, our power supply and our timer. Some of it's in Chinese. It's like Chinese and English. So it's going to be weird to see, but at least we can use it because it does have some English on there too. I'm assuming that packet in there is instructions, which is going to be helpful because
A lot of pieces.
otherwise we're going to be scratching our heads, I'm pretty sure here.
And what would anything be without spare parts? Gotta have extras. You didn't put it together right if you don't have extras.
So we got, looks like probably a half-inch PVC pipes. Of course, I can't tell because it's apparently from Japan and everything's millimeters. But it looks like it's probably a half-inch pipe.
But we ordered from someone in the United States, so apparently they ordered them from Japan and then they're selling them from here.
And we have rows of these. I don't know what those are yet. I'm assuming they're probably something to do with the net baskets.
This is something we were very excited about getting, and I wish that they were a little bit bigger as far as the potting system goes, but you know, when you're ordering online, it doesn't necessarily give you all that information.
Alright, so it looks like the rest of this box is probably going to be the larger PVC pipes. So they already have cutouts for the baskets, or pots, or netting box things, whatever they're called, I don't know, but
This is something we are still researching, figuring out. Really meant to get a book by now so we could actually read a little on it. We're doing a lot of research into a lot of different things, and we're reading too many different books at this point.
yeah, so the rest of the box is these. So to make my life easier, we're just going to leave them in there for now. We'll pull them out as we need them.
One of the things we're researching right now is, do we need lighting over it? What kind of lighting do we need?
So
Trying to figure that out. It's supposed to come with a pump. I didn't see a pump.
I don't see a pump either.
Oh, that's the pump. Just like a little aerator. It's just a mini little aerator. How good is that going to work? We don't know. We'll find out.
That might be one of the first things we end up upgrading.
Like this one, like I said, it's probably not going to be one that we're able to really plant bigger plants into. We're probably going to have to keep it like the lettuces, the herbs. But we can at least see how the system works, see how it goes, and eventually make our own or upgrade. It's a good stepping stone. This was on sale when I ordered it, so it was pretty cheap. I want to say we spent under $100 for it, or right around $100. It was pretty cheap.
It's at least an introductory into hydroponics. It's at least an introduction into hydroponics though. And worst case scenario, if all we can use this for ends up being lettuces and herbs and stuff, it's still going to be a really good system for us to actually be able to grow and have lettuces and herbs and maybe some smaller stuff like that in the house all year round. And like I said, this stuff is super easy to go to Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace, pretty much any hardware store. You can buy your own PVC pipes, your own fittings, and you can custom make this thing to whatever size and dimensions that you want. You don't even necessarily have to make the system that we bought. You can make your own. It's just really cool to actually get into. It's kind of a self-contained system, and it's kind of cool to just get introduced into it.
And we might be able to do like peppers don't get very big, so we might be able to put peppers on here. Tomatoes, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if tomatoes can go in that small of a pot. They have a fairly good rooting system.
Okay, this is interesting. We have to make parts for the parts. Okay. We could probably just not do that, but we'll go with the pictures. We're not gonna make the parts for the parts. We'll just do the parts. It should be okay. So, by the looks of it, bam. Bam. We'll get it all kind of put together, and then once everything looks close, we'll tighten it up. So we need 4 of these.
My fault.
Okay. I'm assuming these are D's.
I can't really see the instructions, so I couldn't get any input really. Now you did it.
Well, I wouldn't have done it if they didn't send me a bag with a hole in the bottom. So we need... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do we need these? Eight centimeter pipes and 2 elbows. Is that centimeter? Does that look like 8 centimeters?
Probably, considering everything that's left is about that width besides these. And these are definitely bigger than centimeters.
I'm talking about length.
Oh. Centimeters is not very big. I would say 8 centimeters would be the real small ones in there. Would be my guess. Don't you have a tape measure?
Yes. What are we missing here? Says insert 3.7 centimeter pipe into reducer as shown illustrated. So maybe that's these little tiny pieces?
No, I haven't seen some.
So let's... Okay, well that's not what I said. If these pieces are meant for those. Maybe we should have made the parts.
18 or whatever.
So like these?
Yeah, so yeah, that size should be the 8. These should be the 15, and then those ones should be the 45.
That kind of looks like a picture. That made us ultimately buy the system.
What?
I said this kind of looks like a picture that ultimately made us buy the system.
Yeah.
Got more of these. All those down there.
One connects the 2 middle ones down there, and then one connects there.
Maybe we should get those boxes. So one's gonna go down here. Like that, but you guys can't see. Another one's going down here. That. And Bill stand. So, I know you guys can't see, so I'm going to slap you guys off the tripod really quick. So this is basically what we have. So your cups are going to go in these holes. Water, this is going to end up being the top, probably top shelf, the way that it looks like we're building it. But water would come in, flow down, and come around and flow through this tube, and come around, flow through this tube, and then come around and flow back through this tube, and then it goes down to the second shelf. I think because all these are going to be the same, I'm not going to record all of it because I don't want to make a super long video out of this. Just kind of want to show you guys our little introduction into hydroponics and kind of figuring things out. Take you guys along the journey. Hopefully the lessons that we learned, you guys can learn too. If you guys are interested in doing it yourself, you guys will have one leg up. But in the meantime, you guys are going to sit back and watch the mistakes we make. So I'm going to probably go ahead and shut the camera off. We'll probably get the rest of these made up. And then maybe once we start doing the stand, do you want to pop it back on? We'll do the stand.
Yeah, we might bring it back on for that. Just kind of show how easy it is to set up and all that stuff. So far, the directions are not easy to follow.
Actually,
cats trying to choke.
Actually, because the next step is to make the stand, to put it on the stand. Maybe we'll just keep you guys recording until the stand's over with, and then we'll get back to you once we get it all done. But we'll go ahead and work on the stand since that's next, and we'll show you guys how that's put together. 45, it says make 2 parts. Let's start them in 2 T's. So that's 2. And that would be the other part. 2. Then 30 centimeters, assuming are these. I need 2 of those. Now, granted, at this point, we don't know if we're doing the right thing. We don't know if this is it.
We could get this all set up and be like, well, that's completely wrong.
So that's the other one. This is a smaller version of the last one we made. Make 4. Insert 3.7 millimeter pipe into T's and 30 centimeter pipe as shown and illustrated. That's a very bad illustration. So, nope, not what I do. Something like that. Must be able to do 4 of those. Got enough to make 1 more, so maybe, just maybe, I'm a genius. And I know Chinese, which is English for retard. Insert 3.7 millimeter pipe into T's.
Oh, so those are the little ones. Those are those little ones that are left. So that's the size those were too. I was gonna say, I thought those were 4s, and I'm like, wait a minute.
So, you needed 8.
spare parts. Except for it just didn't get included in the spare parts.
So, maybe at the bottom and the top. I think.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, that's what it looks like, bottom and top.
Something like that. So we're just into the ends of the T's. Like so. And then again. Into the ends. Like so. Make one part 15. Which ones were we pretending were 15s?
I think it's this next size.
This one?
I think, yeah. I think that's the 15s. Yeah,
That's
that's the only size left.
Supposed to be one like that. What else did we not make?
This should be the one going across, so wherever the 15 is. Should be two 15s. And that should get inserted into this.
Oh, yeah. Inserted.
And then this
Inserted.
would go across the top of them.
Inserted.
Not yet. Then we need the 45s, which this was this. Would go, yeah, across each of these.
So
I can't get in the hole.
hopefully you guys can actually follow along with this process. It's so the posts that we made with the T's with the two little pieces at the end are your vertical pieces right here. The one we made with the two T's and just an arm straight across, that's basically the base. These are going to be your feet. So these are the short little 15 millimeters. So hang on, hold this. So your pieces. This piece is this one that we just made. The bottom piece is these that we just made. And then your little 15s go in for your feet. And then your top bar is that one that we just made. If it'll focus, but it won't, because there we go. It's that piece. Then your
Spare 45s.
so then your pieces coming across are the extra 45s that you had, the 45 centimeter. So we're figuring it out here.
It is much, much smaller than I thought it was. Which,
Yeah.
that's slightly disappointing, but again, this is a good starter. And if all we can grow on it is the herbs and the lettuces, I would rather it be small than something ginormous that's taking up a ton of space. So, nothing else. We start off with this. We try it out. We don't like it. We can always sell this one and go to a different system. But it's a good way to start.
And this is our last 45. So we can kind of go through the process of building the side here really quick. I'm going to try to flip it around. My makeshift table is very small right now. But I'm going to try to flip it around, throw the drill off the table, and then I'm going to build this side together. So the first thing we need is those T-posts we made. So remember that T-post, we put the small pieces in at the end? That is your up and down, your vertical post. So we're going to just pop it in.
Wait a minute. Like we're supposed to have the bigger piece on the end of that though. We're supposed to have the leg.
No, you gotta make that cross.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. I'm like, wait a minute.
So then we're just gonna kind of pop it together like that. And then once she puts my pieces back together, we're going to take the other post that we made, the other vertical post with the small ends at the end, and they just pop onto this one. We making progress, guys.
Put the legs on.
So now she's putting together
The two little legs, the extra pieces.
So this was the one that had the T-ends on both sides, and she just put the 15mm legs into them. And then that's just going to come down here and slap into the bottom, which is why we put those little pieces down at the bottom of this. So pretty simple. And then this little piece we made with the elbows on both sides, again, the reason we put those small pieces in at the top of the T-post, it just slaps right on, which is off camera frame. But we already talked about how we're not good YouTubers, so. So
Things need to be tightened back up. Or tightened up eventually.
So I'll have Krystal yank it down onto the floor. I'll yank you off tripod. And I'll show it to you. There is the stand and all of its glory. Things have to be tightened up. Like I said, we just want to make sure everything's going to be kind of where they need to be, lined up the way they need to be. And then we'll tighten it down later, but you kind of get the gist of it right there. That's the stand. It's not bad. You guys can see Krystal in the background, so it's probably about waist tall. It's a little bit higher, maybe.
Like I said, I would be tempted with the size of it.
You can kind of see the width of it with Krystal too. It's not very big. It's kind of a square, so it's about the same size both ways.
Like I said, I don't think tomatoes could go on it. I would be tempted to maybe put some peppers on this top rack.
So
Just to try it.
We don't know yet. We'll figure it out, I guess. But we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna build these other couple grow racks or stations or whatever you call them. We're gonna build them off camera really quick. When we put the whole system all together and we kind of stack them on the rack and stuff like that, we'll come back and we'll kind of walk you guys through that and see what else we can mess up. Okay, guys. So I kind of lied. I looked at the directions. It seems a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. So we're gonna slap the pieces together as we go, because from my understanding, based off the crappy Chinese directions that came with it, you literally picked that setup that we made with those 4 plant pipes, literally pick them up, set them down. That's it. There's no strapping, there's no screws, there's no cables to hold it, no nothing, it just sits. So we're just gonna keep the video going.
So in short, if you have a dog like Rocky, you don't want to put this in a spot where they're just going to knock it all over. Because he would. It's going to be in a room where we can close the door.
Pick up and set down. And of course they fell apart. Now's a good time to see if they sit level. If they're not, you can kind of rotate stuff. If this is not straight up, everything looks about right.
It is a very staticky PVC pipe.
So then we just quickly build the second rack, which I'm going to kind of pause the video here, editing, pause the video, and we're going to build the second rack and we'll slide that one in.
Go on this way.
Yes.
So now, got the second one in there. So you need to kind of spread it out like it's supposed to be. Make sure it's straight up and down. Everything's tight. Nothing's kind of off kilter. Like everything kind of looks good. And we're going to pause the video and build the bottom rack. So, fourth rack is in. I don't know if you can really see it, but we're just going to do the same thing we did with the last ones. Make sure everything's kind of straight where they need to be. Everything's kind of see good on that side.
Yeah, it looks good.
You want to go push it and make sure nothing's tipsy-topsy. So, based off my fancy dancing instructions that suck, this one goes from here, which is kind of visible, to there. And again, we're going to have to tighten these all off camera. Just tighten them down some. And then this one goes from here to here. Kind of like so. And then this is your outlet. That is basically your return pipe. So it's going to bring the water back out of the system into your bucket or your tote or whatever you're using to pump your water out. And that goes simply, kind of don't really see it, but it goes on this end. Like so. And then you're probably not going to be able to see that one either. But this is your inlet, which I can't see the screen anymore, so hopefully you guys can see that. But this is your inlet. It's just a little inlet. It's a push-on style. It doesn't want to focus. Focus. Not going to focus, but it's well, it's not going to do it. I tried. Oh, there you go, kind of. You see the ridges? That's your push-on style, and it's just simply an elbow, which is going to go right here, just like that. And then your hose simply pushes on to your inlet, goes down to your bucket, your tote, your whatever you're using, and then the other end will connect to your pump. And that's actually what pumps the water up. It'll come up through the tube, it'll go into your inlet, it'll run your system all the way through the pipe you made, comes down, runs through this shelf, comes down, runs through that shelf, and then comes out your outlet down at the bottom back into your bucket or your tote, whatever you ended up using. Pretty simple system. We can actually build this ourselves, like I said. So kind of see how it does, see how we like it. Maybe we will build something a little bit better and a little bit bigger for ourselves. Alright guys, so this is obviously a temporary solution. We just wanted to fire it up, see it actually work in person, and kind of just see how it does. This pump is very, very small, and we obviously have our concerns about it. So we really just wanted to check it out, see how it actually does, and kind of just see how the whole system works. I already have the hose connected to the inlet up top. So we're going to, once we permanently set this up, I'm probably going to cut this hose to length to fit our system. But like I said, this is not going to be our permanent system.
Cheetos.
So we have that pushed on. We're going to try and see if this container is going to hold enough water to actually operate the entire system. So you want to go ahead and dump water in?
Yep. want to make sure that pump stays fully submerged at all times. You have to keep in mind that some of that water is going to get pumped out. So while it's pumping, you want to make sure there's enough water that that pump is still going to be underwater.
So we're going to go ahead and kick it on.
Oh yeah, there's water up there.
Yeah, the water's going down pretty quick.
Yeah, there's water up in the tube.
Alright guys. It's on.
It's running into this one now.
Water's going down pretty significantly. We probably don't have enough water here.
It's running through the system.
Well, there's quite a bit of water going through the system here, guys.
Cheetos.
I'm quite a bit worried on this water level.
But you can see, I don't know, you can't really see into the tube, but the water's starting to fill up into the tubes, and you can kind of hear it running. It is actually pumping the water in pretty good. This one's now pretty much full, so it's starting to go into this one. These top ones are completely filled up. Like, there's a decent, but you can see the water moving.
Just turned it off.
So we turned it off because, like I said, you don't want to let that water run out. You want that pump to be fully submerged, and you can see how low that water level is. We don't want to burn out the pump and the whole, hey, let's show how this works. So, dog knocking down gate. Those ones had not gotten water yet. So this does use a lot of water, actually. We're going to have to get a pretty long, short tote. I think we might have one of those. If not, we'll have to get one.
The idea is that we want to try to have a tote under here where this outlet can come into and the pump can sit, and it'll have enough water sitting under the system to actually operate the entire system. Don't know if that's necessarily going to work. We might have to go with a much bigger tote, which obviously a much bigger tote is not going to fit under the system.
Yeah. We obviously need something that's short enough that it's going to get underneath this elbow so that at least we can put the outlet into it. But you can hear, I'm sure, like the dripping sound. It kind of sounds like a running toilet. That's what at first I thought that's what I was hearing. But it definitely works. Can't wait to get some plants in here and see how it goes. We have to see what substrate we need to use, get that stuff, figure out if we need grow lights, all that, and get this set up. But it holds a lot more water than I thought it did. Which I guess I didn't think about the fact that each PVC pipe is going to basically fill up. So that's a decent bit of PVC pipes that have to get filled up.
So these are the baskets. Hopefully everything's focusing. These are the little baskets. Again, I don't know what in the world they're called. But they're not super big. But like I said, the system's not as big as I thought it was going to be. But they just pop in. These holes are cut squared. You guys can see the water, so obviously there's still water in here. But they kind of just fit in there like so.
Nice and simple. Yeah, the system's a lot smaller than I anticipated. The directions sucked. But for a starter set, not bad. Not a bad starter set. Something we can learn with and perfect ourselves. The pump worked. It got the water into it, which that was one of our concerns. Now we just got to figure out what we're going to put underneath it so there's enough water. Because that definitely is not enough water.
Alright guys, so overall first impressions, for me at least, a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. Besides that, I mean, it's basically what I thought it was going to be. It's what was pictured. I just assumed it was going to be bigger than it was.
I think our biggest problem is they were using different metrics for their sizing. So I was reading it as inches when that's not what they were measuring it as. So I was reading inches, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be a pretty hefty size, and centimeters is a lot smaller than inches.
So, yeah, even though it's smaller than we thought it was going to be, it's actually holding up pretty good. It's that little pump that we were so worried about is actually working pretty well. So I'm kind of shocked and impressed by it. We obviously we got to get the whole system up and running and set up the way it needs to be set up. Get some plants in there and stuff to really see how the actual system works overall. But I'm pretty happy with it so far. For the price we paid, it's not bad for, like I said, entry level, kind of getting into hydroponics.
Herbs are probably getting planted in this, so herboponics.
English! But hydroponics, getting into it, this is, in my opinion, really a starter set because it's, you guys can see it's not very big. Like, I can reach the other side from standing next to Krystal, so I can actually clearly reach past her and touch the end. Not super big, not super deep either, so it's actually a pretty good one for inside your house. It should tuck away in a lot of cool places if you guys want to give it a shot, see how it works out for you guys if you guys are into gardening, vegetables, herbs, whatever. If we end up liking this, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a bigger scale of this and just basically probably leave this as herbs and maybe some lettuce, but it's probably going to be left to mainly herbs. Then I'll have the bigger system, we can do other stuff.
Yeah, like this, I'd say, especially for a starter, it's pretty perfect because herbs and lettuce, you don't need a lot to get them to grow. You really don't need a lot. You just need a spot to plant them. So a light would probably help, but you don't necessarily need a light with herbs and lettuce. And this is perfect for that. Tomatoes, peppers, they're going to need a little bit more. These spots might not be perfect for it, although I'm tempted to try it. We probably will try it since we've got it. What does it hurt? But you're going to need a little bit more to grow those. You're going to need the light. You're going to need just a little bit more than what this system alone has to offer. So if you're just getting into it, trying to learn the system, this is a perfect starter for like the herbs and the lettuces and to get your feet wet in hydroponics.
If you guys are interested, this does, like we've said before, it holds 108 plants. This little system will hold 108 plants. So if you guys are interested, we'll try to find a link for it down below. We'll post it, and then you guys can, if you guys are interested in trying it out for yourself, you guys can pick it up. Hopefully, by watching this video, at least you guys have a general idea of how to put it together. Probably a lot better than the one you're going to get from reading those instructions. Not very happy with those. There's a lot of room for guessing, but overall I've had a lot worse instructions than that, so they're not that bad. They're just not very detailed.
And honestly, the instructions were not the best, but it wasn't that hard to figure out. The system isn't hard to figure out. It wasn't too horribly hard to figure it out, though, and the nice thing is it is PVC pipe. You're not putting screws, nails, or any of that into it to hold it together. So if you put one of the wrong pipes on, you just disconnect it and fix it, like we had to do at the beginning. So really, at the end of the day, it's not that bad of an issue to have to deal with.
But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap the video up, stop talking, because it's probably going to be long enough as it is. Overall, pretty happy with it so far. Once we actually get the substrate and all that stuff figured out, we start getting ready to put some plants in here. We'll probably have you guys follow us along with that. And we'll give you guys updates as the system starts to work for us, and we'll see how hard it is for us getting into it and how hard it could possibly be for you guys, and just take you along the journey. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We're going to end the video here and then try to figure out how to get the water out of this.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wish they actually gave you a little bit of a, hey, to empty it, you do this. I don't know what we're supposed to do.
I don't know. I was going to say it'd be kind of nice if they gave you an air compressor, kind of, but with all these holes in the system, you're not going to blow it out anyways. But we're going to wrap it up, figure out what we're going to do with this water and where we're going to put it, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Whatever her saying, be kind, rewind. Whatever her saying is.
Just be kind, you don't know what anyone's going through.
And I don't have one. So, I love your ugly faces. I'm joking, you guys aren't ugly, I love you. Always stay positive,
and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.